VShojo is one of the world's biggest VTuber agencies. It was founded by Justin the Gun Run Ignacio, a former Twitch employee, and YouTuber Philip Motendo Fortunat. The company is based in San Francisco, California, and officially launched in late 2020 with the goal of giving VTubers more freedom over their content and identity. Compared to the more structured agencies like Hololive or Nijisanji, VShojo promoted itself as the chill, creator-first option, a safe place where VTubers wouldn't have to worry about strict rules or being taken advantage of by money-hungry executives. This motto was a way for the company to draw in the growing number of VTuber talent and VTuber fans who were becoming jaded toward the previously established VTubing companies that were developing a reputation for being overall toxic companies to work for. VShojo's creators first pitch worked. Popular talents like Project Melody, Vtubing, Nanners, and Iron Mouse helped build the brand into something huge. For years, the agency was praised for being different. Fans supported it, and the VShojo creators grew a lot under it, becoming not just popular in the VTubing market, but many of them grew to rank amongst the most popular and most donated to streamers in the entire world, with Iron Mouse specifically becoming the #1 most subscribed to streamer of all time on Twitch, breaking Consonant's record. VShojo was beginning to look like the future of VTubing, but as time went on, small concerns started to build. The more the company grew, the more those issues stood out. By mid-2023, quiet rumors started floating around in regards to VShojo suffering from bad management, poor communication with their talent, and radio silence when it came time to pay their talent large sums of money they were owed. Slowly, people like Vtubing, Nanners, and Silverveil began leaving the company. Each exit came with vague mentions of burnout, creative differences, or mental health related concerns. Most fans brushed these instances off as not being related to a larger issue with VShojo as an employer, as at the time it seemed possible these could just be a string of personal choices and or just bad fits chemistry wise. Nothing necessarily controversial, but all the benefit of the doubt would evaporate in July of 2025 when Iron Mouse, one of the OGs of VShojo and easily their most recognizable face, dropped a bomb that would shock the VTubing community to its core. It all started on July 17th, 2025, when Iron Mouse posted a short cryptic tweet that instantly got her fans worried. It read, quote, "I'm so sorry for not streaming as much these past 2 weeks. I have been going through a lot, but I hope to get back to streaming soon." The reason Iron Mouse's fans were so concerned is that she has common variable immune deficiency disease, also known as CVID, and Iron Mouse has always been very transparent with her fans about how tough living with the disorder is and how some days are way worse than others. If you didn't know, CVID is a chronic immune system disorder where the body doesn't produce enough antibodies to fight off infections properly. Iron Mouse being so open about her situation is one of the many reasons people love and admire her. Despite her personal struggles, when her stream goes live, Iron Mouse is nearly always beaming with positivity. In an interview with Plasma Hero, she said, quote, "I didn't realize how talking about it could raise awareness. I don't make my illness honest, the main focus of my content, but I do speak about it from time to time for education and awareness, and to explain why I may not be feeling my best at times. Now, the replies to Iron Mouse's cryptic tweet was filled with motivational messages from her friends and fans, but at the same time, some fans did theorize that her tweet could be alluding to a new problem, unrelated to her illness, because of just how ambiguous it was. Then just 4 days later, these fan suspicions would be confirmed when Iron Mouse came back with a 18-minute video called Why I Left VShojo. Every VTuber fan who watched this video knew that things were about to hit the fan, but no one could have expected just how insane this drama would get in just 24 hours. In the video, Iron Mouse laid out everything she had been through while being a part of the VShojo agency. The mistreatment, the broken trust, and just overall how bad things really got behind all the fun content she kept putting out. Right from the start, Iron Mouse reveals that she now has information which leads her to believe that she is owed a significant amount of money from VShojo. And then, in a clearly emotional tone, Iron Mouse says that the most heartbreaking part to her is that the $500,000 she raised during a year-long charity drive for the Immune Deficiency Foundation was never actually sent out. She explains that VShojo basically misled her about where the money was, and eventually stopped giving her updates altogether. At the time Iron Mouse's video dropped, it had been an entire year since VShojo received the money. On top of that, Iron Mouse says she has never seen clear numbers for her merch sales since she signed. And now in retrospect, she feels like she was probably underpaid for that too. And remember, the whole point of VShojo in the first place was it was supposed to be a company where its creators didn't even have to worry about things like this. As Iron Mouse explained everything, you could feel her fighting back tears. This charity wasn't just a cause for her, it was actually this same charity that her own agency just allegedly stole from that helped save Iron Mouse herself, both physically and emotionally, when she was at her lowest.
The Immune Deficiency Foundation is a charity that is near and dear to my heart and has a particular significance in my life. When my health first started getting really bad, the Immune Deficiency Foundation helped me immensely when I really had nowhere else to turn. I was terrified, I was lonely, and I was confused. I honestly didn't really know what was going on, and I never ever want anyone else to go through that. This entire situation has broken me. I just wanted to do something good and to give back to a community that helped me. But unfortunately, that's not the case.
Throughout the rest of the video, Iron Mouse goes into the origins of her doing content creation and how in the beginning she wanted to stream in an attempt to make new friends since CVID had limited her ability to meet new people. However, she was too scared to show her real face. Then one of Iron Mouse's friends put her onto an app that allowed her to use an anime avatar to stream. Using the avatar, she started streaming, and thanks to her infectious personality, she built a small audience. But she never took streaming too serious until VShojo reached out to her asking her to join their agency. Iron Mouse does give them credit, saying it was thanks to them that she was able to grow into the level of creator she became. However, even this segment ultimately led to betrayal, as Iron Mouse reveals that back when VShojo approached her in 2020, she knew it did seem like a smart idea potential career-wise, but she just didn't know if she had it in her to be a corpo VTuber, because she honestly saw herself as an unhireable person.
When I was approached to join VShojo, and it was through VShojo that I was able to grow into the Iron Mouse that I am today. When I was approached in 2020 and asked to join Vishojo, it seemed like a good idea, but I honestly did not know if I could ever be a corporal VTuber because I felt like I just couldn't. In my mind, I saw myself as unhireable, which is why streaming worked for me. I had no boss, no strict rules, I had no hours, no expectations. It was all up to me, and due to the fact that I have lived my life chronically ill and being unable to do much of anything, I just felt like there was no way that anyone would ever take me or want me.
No lie, it was hard for me to even get through this part of the video because Iron Mouse is just being so raw and honest. And empathically, I just feel so sad that she ever felt this way about herself. You can actually hear her voice trembling as she recounts what I'm sure is a traumatic story for her, and how Vsojo re-traumatized her by reinforcing her original feelings she overcame that she shouldn't trust people. Iron Mouse literally says the Vsojo charity situation broke her. It would be hard for any decent person to come away from this video not furious at Vsojo if even half of what Iron Mouse says is true, which, given the CEO of Vsojo admitted to the crime not long after this, it's pretty clear now Iron Mouse was being 100% truthful. We'll definitely be touching more on the CEO in just a second because his response statement left me flabbergasted. Before the video ends, Iron Mouse mentioned that she wasn't out to cause drama, but that staying quiet would have made her part of the problem. Oh, and one last part of the video I think is being super underrepresented in other people's commentary on this topic is that for a long time, Vsojo would gaslight Iron Mouse into not leaving earlier by always telling her how important she is to the company's success, guilt tripping her into re-signing because they made her feel like by leaving she would be harming the careers of all the other Vsojo VTubers. Iron Mouse, being a good person, didn't want that to happen.
I would always be told how important I was for the company, and I was always told that I was needed in order for the company to succeed. Although that was very positive to hear, it put a lot of pressure and a lot of stress on me to the point where I felt guilt-tripped into signing. I felt responsible for everybody. I felt responsible for staff and talent alike. And I felt like if I didn't do this and if I didn't stay, I was hurting everybody and I was destroying everybody's life.
Now, even though the Iron Mouse controversy was enough to destroy Vsojo's reputation on its own, what really cemented the agency's downfall was the simultaneous release of seemingly endless similar accusations toward them that dropped the same day and every day after. Iron Mouse, being brave enough to go first, opened the floodgates. Various artists, composers, and contractors started coming out with their own Vsojo horror stories, basically backing up everything Iron Mouse said. Music producer at Vortoxy came forward saying Vsojo hadn't paid him in months. Then an animator dropped screenshots of emails and invoices that were ignored by Vsojo for over a year. Some ex-staff even hinted this stuff wasn't new. Late payments, broken promises, and ignored contracts were allegedly a thing of the regular at Vsojo. The allegations seemed never ending and people were dropping receipts. What I think really made the drama go mainstream was when the extremely popular YouTuber and resident YouTube Jesus, Penguin Zero aka Morse Critical aka Charlie, began dropping back-to-back videos dunking on Vsojo. Charlie had relatively recently said that he wanted to back off from covering internet drama, but I guess the Vsojo Vsojo controversy pissed him off so much, he had to put his jersey back on and drop 3 videos eviscerating Vsojo and its CEO. These videos raked up over 5 million views collectively in just a few days. Charlie has been around a long time and is largely respected in both the content creation space and the gaming space. And so I sincerely believe that he played a major role in the total destruction of Vsojo's reputation, as people who had never even heard of Vtubing now knew them as that one company who stole from a charity. This would have made it even harder for Vsojo to convince investors to loan them more money, which is related to an issue that the CEO would confirm was one of the ways he failed the company. Next came the mass exodus. Within just 12 hours of Iron Mouse's video going live, Project Melody, one of the OGs and a fan favorite of the Vsojo YouTubers, announced she too would be officially leaving the agency. Her post was short, but you could feel the disappointment. She later followed up by saying she was, quote, beyond devastated at what happened. Next, Kason, another big name in the VTuber world, didn't hold back. She posted, quote, I gave them every chance. I'm done. Later, she confirmed she hadn't been paid since September of 2024, and that she had actually already been planning to leave Vsojo by July 31st. So this whole situation just made it a lot easier. Henya the Genius, a newer VTuber talent that has been blowing up fast, tweeted crying emojis and then followed it up with a simple goodbye. You could tell she was trying to avoid stirring up more drama, but that didn't mean it hurt her any less. Later on, Henya confirmed that unpaid dues were at least a part of the reason she was leaving. Then there was Koro, known for being one of the nicest guys in the VTubing community. He went live and calmly said he had ended his contract with Vsojo. Other creators followed fast. Zentreya, Giga, Montera Khan, Jaime Hajime, Amalie or Monarch, and Michi Mokivi all either removed Vsojo from their bios or posted their own exits. Some were vague, some emotional, but all carried the same vibe. Enough was enough. Vsojo was losing every big and small creator they had. Okay, so at this point, everyone was just waiting to see what type of response could Vsojo possibly have for this level of PR catastrophe. On July 24th, the CEO of Vsojo, Justin Gunrun, put out his official response to the drama. Quote, Vsojo has failed and I've mismanaged the company into the situation you're all witnessing. So today, I'm sharing the difficult news that Vsojo is shutting down, and I take full responsibility for the decisions that led us to this point. Over the last few years, we raised around $11 million to pursue a bold, talent-first approach in VTubing, prioritizing creators and community over short-term profits to achieve long-term sustainability. Our funding went directly to our creators through generous splits, debut investments, infrastructure, concerts, events, and staffing, all designed to support them. We also wanted talent to own their IP, which we knew was a unique creator-first approach for an agency. By the way, I think this part is actually true. From the research I've done, Vsojo was the only VTuber agency that allowed YouTubers to like keep their models and IP. I just wanted to be fair and throw that out there. However, despite all our efforts, the business failed to generate the revenue we needed to sustain that model. And eventually we ran out of money. Additionally, I acknowledge that some of the money spent by the company was raised in connection with talent activity, which I later learned was intended for a charitable initiative. At the time, we were working to raise additional investment capital to cover our cost. And I firmly believed, based on the information available to us, that we would be able to do so and cover all expenses. We, Vsojo, were unsuccessful in our our fundraising efforts. I made the decision to pursue funding and I own its consequences. By the way, when he says funding, he doesn't mean like Iron Mouse raising money for a charity. What he means is like asking people, investors and stuff, for just like loans or just investments. I just wanted to make that distinction. Justin ends his statement by saying, I am deeply sorry to all the talents, staff, friends, and community members who believed in our brand. You did not deserve this. Okay, I'm gonna keep my feelings on Justin's statement very straightforward. Even though it is good he admitted the downfall of Vsojo was ultimately his fault and his team's fault, to me, he still didn't take enough blame. Because based on his own words, it's clear he has known about Vsojo's money issue for a long time. And he could have just been more transparent with his talent and employees, and together they all could have figured out a more ethical way to try to save the company together, as opposed to, I don't know, stealing from a charity, which is something that Kason also pointed out in the replies. Why didn't you let us know the moment you realized the situation? Why did I get the information 2 weeks ago, not from the company, but from my homegirls? Why did you lie to the JP branch a week ago that everything was good and taken care of? Great points as always from Kason. Iron Mouse herself replied, and she kept it short but straightforward. Quote, you broke my heart, my spirit, and my trust. Jacksepticeye replied, and he captured the exact feeling I had while making this video. Quote, keeping charity money is some movie villain shit. Pretty much everyone and their mama replied to this. Most was VTubers explaining how disappointed they was or coming out with more stories. And the rest was people just saying like, all right, cool story, but what happens to the money? Are you ever gonna donate it? I think the most shocking part to most people was Justin's acknowledgement to repurposing the charity's money, because it read more like the admission of breaking federal laws. I'm definitely no law expert, but the YouTuber legal mindset is. And so here's what a practicing attorney said in his video, Vsojo just confessed to a crime.
However, despite all of our efforts, the business failed to generate the revenue we needed to sustain that model, and we ran out of money. Additionally, I acknowledge that some of the money, now here we go, here's the confession. Some I acknowledge, so I am saying this happened. Some of the money spent by the company was raised in connection with talent activity. So he is confessing to the fact that they diverted funds which were intended to pay their talents, and they're calling them talents, by the way, because if they call them employees, they'll be screwed under labor law. They're using the language specifically talent because they know that they're trying to frame talents, independent contractor, we're gonna get out of that. So they owed money to the talents and they spent it. They misallocated it.
So yeah, I have a feeling that Justin's response is going to be Exhibit A in court, if there really is any legal fallout from all of this. Oh, and by the way, Justin also got called out for a really unnecessary lie. In his statement, Justin says that it was after he spent the $500,000 that he learned that the money was meant for charity. But as the community note pointed out, Justin retweeted a post from Iron Mouse about the charity at the time of it. The fact checker also pointed out that Justin ignored the plethora of other accusations that he owed various amounts of money to other people as well. Now that Vsojo was officially shut down, things would heat up even more because the NDAs that had been shielding Vsojo were now void, and the first VTuber to fully unleash their truth would be Vtubing. Quote, and so our NDAs are now void. Why I left Vsojo. Back in 2023, Vsojo tried to bully me into one of the most predatory contracts that I've ever seen. When I tried to ask more about it, their COO got extremely hostile with me and refused to answer any of my questions. And so I had to hire a lawyer in order to get some clarification. During the talks, it became clear that Vsojo would rather let me go than to take less from me. They were for ultimately wanting me to give up more than half of all my sponsor revenue and over 60% of all merch sales. All I ask from them in return is to not take a cut of the sponsors that I was getting through Mythic. As that cut was already being taken, they said no, they want it all. And so I asked to leave after being treated like I was disposable in our talks. They basically made it seem like they were my employer and that they're the reason for my success, that I owe them and that I should be happy to give them money. In order for me to leave, they demanded that I sign an NDA that prevented me from speaking to any of the other talent about it. I could not say what the terms that I was saying no to were. I even got in trouble for advising them to hire their own attorneys. They would watch my streams, read my Discord, and then threaten to sue me. If I said anything that hinted towards how I really felt about the company, I was threatened with a lawsuit. Another one of their leave terms was that they will announce both me and Silver on the same day in order to minimize the damage to their company. Their COO has begun to push a narrative on 4chan, yes, I'm serious, LMFAO, and other social media that I'm leaving because I plan to join OTK and that both me and Silverveil are troublemakers. So they were letting us go. Later, I found out that Nanners wanted to leave around the same time due to also being unhappy with the contract, but was told that she couldn't because it did not fit their narrative that they were pushing internally and externally. The amount of hate we've gotten over leaving, from fans calling us greedy bitches to people saying we're abandoning our friends and tossing aside the company because we're successful enough, was painful. Not being able to say anything sucked. I only found out I didn't get paid for any of my sponsors after I had already signed the NDA. After 2 years, I have still not been paid back fully. To add insult to injury, they also demanded I had to pay them back $10K for some of the anniversary assets, which when they sent me back months later were half finished. Despite all of that, I've had immense faith that the company has gotten better over the past 2 years. I assumed they rewrote their contracts after losing 3 people due to them and seeing all the new talent join. Clearly, this was not the case. This next part's my favorite because Vtubing just exposes everything. She goes, now for some fun facts. Their company lawyer has an expired law license. He literally does not practice law anymore, yet he was our point of contact for any legal help we needed. They actively pitted us against one another during my time there and compared our successes to others. They tried enforcing streaming schedules so that our view count would look better due to less overlap. They would always shit talk other VTuber agencies. They literally would spend company money to get a tiny dig at them. Especially HoloLive, it literally lived rent-free in Gunrun's head. They were convinced HoloLive was over when they signed Kason and Nazuna. Our previous talent manager got ghosted for 6 months by Gunrun, told not to do any work for us, and then got fired for not doing anything. During this fiasco, we weren't able to get any assistance. MTD, who I assume is Mutendo, got reprimanded for being creepy to us and got told to not message us privately. Go figure. I have proof from other streamers attending their IRL parties that MTD would actively shit talk me after I left the company to paint me in the worst light imaginable. Don't know why you're acting all innocent on Twitter, pretending you weren't aware of anything. Can't wait to see all the that comes out about you because there's loads, but those weren't any of my stories to tell. Thanks for reading, and thanks to those who stuck around between then and now. Thank you for giving me, Silver, and Nan the benefit of the doubt when we needed it the most. I thought it was very important to read Vtubing's entire statement because I'm sure after this video is posted, there will be a lot more ex-VSojo VTubers coming out with their own first-hand experiences, which I will cover in a second video if needed. But for now, Vtubing did a great job at explaining the overall issue of how things have been bad at VSojo for a long time, and none of the management at VSojo did anything to fix it. For example, like Vtubing mentioned, right now Motendo, the aforementioned co-founder of VSojo, is attempting to distance himself from all the accusations just because he had left the company just 2-ish months before the Iron Mouse drama kicked off. But rightfully so, no one is letting him get away with it. Motendo even tried to throw his ex-friend and business partner under the bus after the drama blew up by tweeting at Gunrun, "Nah bro, what the absolute." But then he got obliterated by a community noter who pointed out Motendo himself was included in many of the VSojo mismanagement issues and has been specifically called out by VSojo VTubers for harassing talent. For Iron Mouse and the rest, the road ahead looks both hopeful and messy. A lot of them will probably go solo again or join new agencies if they can bring themselves to trust an agency again. This whole thing reminded me a lot of everything that happened in our The Deserved Downfall of Crunchyroll video. For a lot of these companies who start out with good intentions, they either die a hero or they live long enough to see themselves become a villain. It's important to mention that the ever resilient Iron Mouse launched her own charity stream right after cutting ties with VSojo, this time promising full transparency and no shady middleman. In just 24 hours, she pulled in over $500,000, and I think as of now, she has even passed 1 million raised. By the way, if you're still watching, I appreciate that you're a real one. Drop a mouse emoji or the word mousy in the comments to let me know who all made it to the very end of the video.